Hello, this is Joe Sonona with Sonona Speaks Seminars, and this is Coffee Talk special segments. And my guest this week is Kevin McGill of Junk Luggers. Hello, Kevin.
Hey, Joe. Thank you for having me.
How's it going with you? How's Junk Luggers this year, 2020, treating you?
We're doing well. I think back in the spring, everybody had to pivot a little bit. And since then, we've definitely recovered with the increase in the real estate market. More junk needed to be moved, and we're moving it. So we're in a good position right now. We're very fortunate for where we are, at this point in the year.
Good for you. Good for you. Tell me a little bit about the history of Junk Luggers and what do you exactly do for the company?
Yeah. So Junk Luggers was started back in 2004 by our CEO, Josh Cohen. He realized that there was, a need for people getting rid of stuff, and you simply didn't need to just go to the landfill with it. So he started back in 2004 in, the Stamford, Connecticut area, and then Josh started franchising in 2013. My location, which covers Queens and Long Island, we were the first franchise. We started in Nassau County, and we've since expanded to Queens County, all of Nassau and Suffolk. So pretty much all of the islands. Nice. And our aim is to divert as much as we can that we remove from the landfill. We do that through donating and recycling. And we love what we do. My position is the Director of Business Development. And my focus is on growing our outreach, growing our marketing efforts, and building the business. So I've since came from an operational role. So I have a very, intricate experience and knowledge of how we work and what we do. So I'm looking to, really share that with anybody that has a need for our service or needs help with just getting rid of something and doing it the right way.
That's cool. That's cool. And how would, and you work very well with the real estate community.
Yeah. So a lot of realtors, either refer us or we work directly. Whether it's staging items for the home, getting rid of some things before the open house so the space looks a little bit better, or clearing out the whole house to ensure that they close on time, or getting those 2 pieces of furniture that they decided not to take, after the movers left to, again, ensure a smooth closing. So whatever, you need to make sure the home is in order for the next owner, we're able to take care of, and we leave the house broom swept.
Now, how does that work? Let's say I had a house that needed to be cleaned, broom cleaned and swept. Do you charge by the truckload, the pound? How do you price it?
So we charge by volume. We have additional charges for specific items or specific removal scenarios. So we would come on site. We have a 2-hour arrival window. We'd come on site within that 2-hour arrival window and give a call when we're on our way. Then we would do a walkthrough to, assess what needs to be removed. We'd put that estimate together based on, volume and any applicable surcharges. And that estimate is totally free, no obligation, and most of all, it's a max price. So if we do go through with the removal, that would not go above that price. The only thing that would change is if it were to come down and it ends up being less than what we estimated. So there's no hidden charges. There's no surprises at the end. Hey, it took longer than we expected. We're giving you an upfront, price guarantee, with a maximum amount. And then if we do the work, we haul everything away in our trucks, and we bring it back to our facility, process, sort. So we're minimizing what goes to the landfill and really trying to get as much as we can to donation centers or to, the proper recycling center.
Oh, so you don't bring your trucks directly to the landfills. You just, you sort it out.
Yep. So our trucks are based out of Hicksville. We have a warehouse where everything really comes back to, and truck comes back. We open it up and we pretty much undo the whole process, and temporarily sort and store back here until it goes to its right home. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Do you have a specific piece of furniture or something specific that you don't haul away?
The only thing we don't take is anything hazardous or toxic. And that's being, so it's not going into the landfill. We don't have any permits for, carrying hazardous or flammable materials. So there's nothing dangerous on the roads since we don't have the proper certification or handling ability, for anything along those lines.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Is there, so you go all over Nassau, Suffolk, Queens. Is there, let's say if I was living in Brooklyn, who would I call in Brooklyn or
So that
Staten
would be,
Island or any of those?
you can still call 1-800-LUG-JUNK. That would be handled by our Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Bronx team. We work very well with them. They just cover those 3 other boroughs.
I see.
And they provide the same excellent service and same mission of landfill diversion.
You have affiliations you was talking about before. Who do you affiliate yourself with? I know in the real estate world, you're affiliated with the Long Island Board of Realtors.
Correct.
You're one of our affiliated partners.
Yep.
And you're doing a great job with the chapters. And hopefully the chapters are referring you because there's a lot of homes with junk in it. So I hope they are doing their part. What other organizations are you affiliated with?
So we work with a few chapters of NAPO, National Association of Professional Organizers, along with specific senior move managers, as well as the HIA, the Hop Hog Industrial Association, and a couple other local organizations, whether they're charitable or business oriented.
What has been your greatest challenge this year in 2020?
It was probably, COVID is an easy answer. I'll answer that twofold. So once everything started to shut down, we were in a difficult spot. We didn't want to endanger our employees. We didn't want to endanger our customers. And there was obviously a huge drop in business due to the climate at the time back in March. So we shut down for a couple days, weren't doing any appointments or any removals. And we had to figure out, A, was there a demand for the service? B, if there was, how do we go about that, while keeping the safety of, really our employees, because they're going into multiple different residences, but at the same time, like I said, our customers. So that was a big challenge. But I think along with that, another big challenge was how do we, once everything was coming back to normal, generate more business, from that really standstill we were at in March. So getting creative with, local outreach, networking efforts, and really changing our marketing around, to include certain things with like no contact, curbside pickup, to make sure, if somebody did have a need for our service, they were comfortable with calling us and having it completed. So I think COVID was definitely, a huge challenge in, very different ways. And I think in a sense, you hope you come out stronger. And I think we did. God willing, nothing comes again in the next few months. But I think, we're going to sort of try to look ahead to make sure we're best positioned to avoid anything that comes. And I think, that's definitely a positive despite all the gloom from the current situation.
Do you, now that you're back in the swing of things and you're going into people's houses, what has been a good, has been a challenge for you there? Like, have you ever come across, I'm sure you've come across hoarders.
Yep. There's always challenges with removals. You take away the pandemic. You could be dealing with hoarders that have, perhaps some stuff in there that you don't want to deal with. Perhaps animals or anything that nobody's aware of due to the situation. And you have to make sure you handle those delicately and appropriately because, there is sometimes a sentimental or a mental attachment to the items, and you got to deal with it not as garbage, but as somebody's belongings that they have to get rid of. So there's always that, personable aspect, and that's something that we always keep in mind. Junk isn't necessarily garbage; it's just something that somebody needs to get rid of for one reason or the other.
I had not one of your competitors years ago lugged about 12 truckloads of garbage out of one of my listings. And I just saw it firsthand. It was one of the very first houses I handled where there was a hoarding situation. And I couldn't believe it. And I couldn't believe that you could put 12 truckloads of, I can't believe you could put 12 truckloads of garbage into a house.
Yeah.
So
you get it in every crevice. So there's always that aspect, whether it's, somebody lost a loved one and they need to clear out the house, and they could have been the cleanest person alive, but, they need to get rid of their furniture that, has that sentimental attachment. So there's that challenge. And then there is the physical challenge. If you got a 1,200-pound safe in the basement and the stairwell was rebuilt after the safe was put down there, how are you going to get it out? So you got to get creative sometimes.
Wait. Elaborate on that. I don't get that. So the safe is there in the basement.
Yep.
1,200 pounds. You mean going up the stairs?
Going up the stairs.
Oh, the amount of weight on the stairs?
Well, you might have had some remodeling done, so the doorwell may have been made smaller. The staircase, whether it's the handrail or some molding put on, so that extra quarter inch, half inch, that could make or break it. So you might need to get creative, whether it's temporarily removing the molding, taking out the door off the hinges, things like that. So you just have enough room to get it out.
I thought you meant the amount of weight on that staircase.
You also got to make sure
imagine the thing going right through the stairs.
You got to make sure that the stairs are foundationally sound as well, for sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, what was the most interesting find that you ever encountered?
That's a good question. I try to think of that in a couple different ways. Whether it's the coolest thing we found, or perhaps the most disgusting thing that we found.
That's a good question. What is the coolest thing you found?
The coolest thing I found. We find a lot of cool stuff. The chair I'm sitting on now is obviously something that was upcycled. So we do that with pretty much all our office furniture, anything that we can reuse. We live our mission. But in terms of the personally, back when I was working on the trucks, that's a good question. Perhaps a World War II rifle, unloaded, but it was a pristine condition rifle. I think it was a Japanese manufacturer that was found.
People know what they actually have in their homes. Here's something that is a great heirloom, and it's worth money.
I think some people do, some people don't. If we ever find anything, we bring it to whomever's attention. There's been plenty of times we've found perhaps a box of jewelry in a top drawer, or precious goods, and you don't know that because whoever it belonged to was probably keeping it there so nobody else would find it. And then, junk luggers come in and, we happen to find it, and, we share it with the relative or whoever's, responsible for the estate or whatever the situation is.
Now, what is the most disgusting thing you ever found? You made up that question.
Well, there's been situations where we were doing a large clean out, or in this particular situation, and it was a hoarder type situation, and they had a lot of cats, and we found a cat that had gone missing, and unfortunately the cat had passed away, but he was under some items that we eventually removed. So that was definitely a little
That's
not so
terrible.
appealing, unfortunate situation. But that was definitely something a little bizarre too. A little bit more perhaps PG. I remember sweeping up, finishing up a job in a garage, and I found almost like a complete skeleton of what appeared to be a squirrel or a raccoon. So it must have got into the garage. Something happened, and there was nothing on the bones. It was like a biology lesson.
Well, listen, as long as you didn't find, God forbid you ever find a human skeleton, or Jimmy Hoffa for that matter.
One of our partners out in the Philadelphia area, he came across a human skull.
Oh,
he did the right precautions of notifying, I believe, the family, and then whomever. I don't know the exact details, but the skull was actually from a science teacher, so it was something used for demonstration purposes, but they had no context when they found it, so it was a little alarming. But it makes for a good story.
Crazy stuff. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I want to switch gears now from that. How do you get back from that? So what are your plans? What is going to happen with junk luggers in 2021? What do you think? Where is junk luggers headed? What kind of big things are you working on now?
Yeah. We're working on, better efficiency of our waste processing system, or our junk processing system. So meaning once it gets onto the truck and it gets back to the warehouse, how do we sort it? So, our main goal for, years to come is, really 0% is going to the landfill. And it's quite a difficult goal with the current situation and, the abilities that we have with our disposal partners and, what we're removing. But our goal is to really donate 60 to 70% of what we remove. And so, that takes a different approach in terms of finding new homes for it. And that's something that we're really trying to improve on. So,
well, what's considered junk and what's considered something that you recycle?
Yeah.
Or repurpose, right? Repurpose.
Yeah. Anything that's in, it's quite vague, but anything that's in usable condition, for example, clothes. You come across, bags of clothes. If they're a little dirty or stained, that's fine. If they're soiled due to mildew or mold or things like that, unfortunately, nobody's going to be willing to accept that because it could spoil, the rest of their inventory or contents that they have. It's really, on a case-by-case basis when it comes to furniture. Anything, it could be damaged a little bit, but as long as it's totally intact, it's hard wood, that's usually donatable. If you got, a lousy IKEA bookshelf that would probably cost more to fix than to buy a new one, unfortunately, that's most likely trash. And then, when it comes to household goods, hard goods like plates, silverware, cutlery, and things like that, those are always donatable. And in terms of appliances, as long as it functions, we're able to donate those. If it doesn't meet those requirements, then it goes to the recycling side, and we try to break it down as much as we can to ensure whatever is recyclable can be recyclable.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Very interesting. Your business is very, very connected to mine because we do a lot with estate sales. We do a lot with people who just want to get rid of their junk. In every sales contract, there is a provision to have it broom clean and vacant.
Yep.
This is where you and I work together.
Yep.
And I think education is very important. And this has been a very educating moment. This is one of those teachable moments. What is your advice for real estate agents out there in connection to your business? What should they know? What should they keep an eye out in order for you to help them?
Yeah. I would say plan ahead. You know, just like everything in life, if you work in advance and you have a plan, it's going to go a lot better than waiting last minute and winging it. There's plenty of things you can do to prepare the home to be emptied out and ready for closing. Obviously, there could be, some home improvements or, things that you need to fix up to make sure that the home is in order. Obviously, you want to take care of that. But when it comes to clearing out the contents, do it little by little in terms of going through things. If you need to make sure you have, the right papers, from your loved one's home that you're selling, don't be doing that on the 29th if you're closing on the 30th and you still need to get rid of all the furniture. So, definitely plan ahead, be smart. There's definitely ways that you can get rid of items for free. And we're all for that. And it usually diverts from the landfill. If you're, giving your couch to your neighbor or you're giving a dresser to a family friend, by all means, do that. That way, if we are coming in, you've gone through everything that you need to. You've gotten rid of anything that you're able to. And it's a straightforward job for us to come in, clear everything out, leave it broom swept. The existing owner is going to be happy. The realtor is going to be happy because they're going to make sure that the closing goes through. And the new homeowner is going to be happy because they're not left with anybody else's junk. So that would be my biggest advice is, not thinking, oh, it's just a bunch of garbage. We can get that out in no time. It usually, requires some time, whether that's yourself or hiring somebody like us. So definitely don't leave it for last minute. It'd be my.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
Always make a checklist for yourselves, even on the day of the listing when
Yep.
you're going to get a listing as well. So tell me, can you tell me where you're located again and your phone number so the folks at home and the real estate community can find you again?
So we're based out of Hicksville, New York, but we cover all of Queens, Nassau, and Suffolk counties. You can reach me personally at 516-413-6713. You can also visit us online at junkluggers.com, JUNKLUGGERS.com. You can book an appointment on the web, or you can call me, whether you want to talk, get some ideas, or book an appointment or an estimate. Be happy to help.
And once again, you are an affiliate partner with the Long Island Board of Realtors. There's a lot of credibility, not just with the Long Island Board of Realtors, but with all the other organizations that you help and you support. And also, you're a trusted vendor and partner of mine. So I welcome you aboard for 2021.
Yeah.
And I look forward to a successful partnership there.
Likewise. I really appreciate having me, Joe. And you got me thinking now. I got to think back a little bit more on my interest in fines. I need to have a better answer for,
Oh, yeah. We got to bring you back on the show and you'll tell us all about the fine.
Yeah.
We'll discover some sort of piece of treasure that will be auctioned off on eBay for $1 billion or something.
Yeah, right.
Maybe you'll have the Hope Diamond one day. Who knows? Well, this has been a really great, interesting way to say goodbye to 2020 with Junk Luggers and Kevin McGill from Junk Luggers. And I just want to thank you again for being on my show. And this is Sonona Speak Seminars and Coffee Talk. And this has been another great presentation and of special segments. So I want to thank you, Kevin, again. And thank you to our audience for tuning in.
Nice
Have
having
a good day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.